Good evening, everybody. I am Mia Mason. I am your host this evening. I am glad that you are able to join us, hopefully from a safe home. If you're working, make sure that you stay safe, wash your hands. I just finished up some grocery and stuff, and I tell you, the employees out there are doing an amazing job, taking care of us and taking care of themselves. My cashier basically had a full face mask on, and taking care of all the needs, cleaning the belt before I got my groceries. And one of the saddest things that I still had to deal with was basically the prices of food and drinks and everything else. I tell you that Coke is more expensive, cheaper than milk or meat. And for what used to be $3-4 a pound is now $5 a pound. So tonight I have two special guests to bring onto the air. They're both advocates of our community here in Maryland and here on the Eastern Shore. Our first guest will be, Laura, because she is going to be talking about what is going on in her church and her community. And then we're going to be talking to Karen Care Homes, who works partly for the National Guard, and see what her life is like on a daily basis, because it has affected everybody else. In fact, it's almost April 12th soon, and about a month ago I started doing everything from home. My campaign was from home. Even I was watching the kids of my treasurers, and thank God her test results came back negative, but she still had to go through a week, not 2 weeks, of quarantine, awaiting those test results. So she will be going back to work. I might be watching children again. It's just one of those things that is a daily part of our news. And to talk about that, one of the first things that is happening is like Boris Johnson. He took it into his own hands to basically meet those first responders, thank them. And currently he is suffering with the virus, and we pray, just like anybody else who might be out there, to take care of themselves. May they get better, because even in our coalition, No Dem Left Behind, one of the biggest things about that was basically what was going on is we had a team member who was pretty much sick, and her name was Rachel, and now she's back at work and she's doing better. So this is something that people are actually able to recover from and take care of themselves. So honestly, we're still working. We're still doing things to help all 10 candidates throughout the entire congressional districts and Senate districts across the state. And I have a correction. Our guest is Reverend Karis Graham. So with that, we will be talking to her first up. But first, it's always about sending out the mail. So please make sure that you join us at miadmason.us, where you can find all the news and events. So we're expecting to basically start our campaign again, hopefully beginning Memorial Day. It's very close to the end of the election, but we really hope that last week or two in there will really help us drive the message home, because giving everybody a phone call, checking on them is wonderful, but it's really about meeting that person face to face, that you get to earn that vote from that person. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break right now and bring in our first guest, and that is Reverend Karis Graham. So we will be right back and talk to you soon. All right, welcome back, everybody. I am Mia, and this is Reverend Karis Graham on us. So go ahead and say hello.
Hi, everyone.
All
Great
right,
to see you.
good to see you too. So with this, how are things going for you? Tell us a little bit about what you do.
I'm currently serving as a parish pastor at Hope Lutheran Church in Clinton, Maryland, which is near Joint Base Andrews off of Beltway, outside of D.C. And I have a small to medium-sized parish, and essentially we've had to switch from being in a sanctuary to being online. And so at Hope Lutheran, we've got board or Hope Lutheran. That's where people could find us. And so this month, we're in Holy Week right now. Monday, Thursday is approaching, Good Friday, of course, Easter Sunday for those who are of the Christian faith.
Passover's tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. So since everything's gone digital, what do you think about like when you hear in the news of other churches that are still doing, social interaction, like in Erie, Florida, near Tampa, Florida, where they believe that, because they're bathed in Jesus's blood, that they're not immune to this.
Right. Well, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? We all will see the world in different ways. Right now, in our parish, the most loving thing we can do as people of faith that we teach is being in community with one another. But one of the things that we now talk about is one of the most loving things we can do as people of faith is not get together with one another. We're called to love our neighbors as ourselves, and that means caring for our neighbor. Within the Lutheran faith, we're very similar to other church bodies where, as a Lutheran church, we have a chain of command, but I have a bishop that I answer to. And throughout our synod and GLCA, we're being encouraged not to meet in person for the sake of others. This is how it was in the early churches too. People hunkered down and were afraid of being a follower of Christ, so some get out. And so this is a time of personal reflection and a time of introspection. So yeah, everyone worships now as they believe, but for us, it's about caring for our brothers and sisters.
Okay. Well, since that has all changed for you, what are your thoughts for after this? When do you think we can also resume back to just going back to our parish, our churches, and then, being face to face with everybody?
Yeah. Well, that will be a wonderful day. I was sharing with our parishioners that I can't wait for us to all have one big party blowout, right? And for those of us who celebrate Holy Communion on a weekly basis, people of faith in the Lutheran parish, in my parish, have not been able to celebrate or partake. So that's going to be a wonderful day, and we are prepared to go the long haul as long as we care for others. And I can't predict how long it will go on, but we're ready. We are online. We also hold different platforms like Zoom prayer groups. We've got free conference call type phone calls for those who just know how to work a phone. We just use different platforms to reach so many people. We're on Facebook, you name it, we're going there. And we just established a YouTube channel this week. So I'm so excited. God is really nudging us forward into this new decade. And the church will be very different on the other end of this than it has been in the past. And I'm very excited, being a war veteran in the middle of chaos comes blessing sometimes too. As painful as it is in Israel. And this war is no different. So prayerfully and carefully we are conveying God's word and God's love in new ways that won't stop after this.
Okay. All right. So how can people reach out to you on that Facebook page? What is that Facebook page called?
If anyone goes to Hope Lutheran Clinton, Maryland, they can find us there, or my email is Pastor Karis, PastorKaras at hope.hopelutheran.org. So I'm excited to be a listening sounding board for people. I know America is struggling. People in our community are struggling. Anxiety, fear of the unknown. So
All right. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. So, with that, may God bless you and others, and have a great night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
All right, everybody, we will be right back with our next guest, Karen K. Holmes, who has done a wonderful TED Talk and more. So, we will be right back. Thank you. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome back. I am congressional candidate Mia Mason. I have behind me Karen K. Holmes. Welcome to the show. Thank you. Oh, thank you, thank you. So, how are you doing? And tell me a little bit about yourself. Wow. So this pandemic has basically completely affected to you to where you're working from home. So how does that affect you and your advocacy and what you do for those in the community in Prince George's? Mm. Okay, well, that social distancing sounds like a good plan. You know, for me, shopping, that's like two shopping carts, not one. But one of the cool things is, what are your plans going forward, after this when the governor lifts the stay-at-home order?
Well, definitely gonna get back together with Prince George's County Police ride along thing with them. I definitely want these girls to know that I haven't forgotten them, and then also drill them and getting back together again too, where we will be able to do some projects that we're working on and some mission assignments. One actually got postponed again because we were helping out the Virginia United States Veterans Reserve Corps out there at a triathlon, and we were going to do that again this year. But as of right now, it has been postponed. I'm not. Hopefully they'll have it, but we're not sure yet. Then getting back to work, I don't know how that's going to work out. Whether we're going to go back right away after the governor. Right now it's just up in the air. I don't think anybody really knows when we're going to get back together again.
Okay, well, all we can do is kind of hope and take care of each other. And if we have to get out into the streets one by one, maintain that social distancing, reach out and help those who might still be out there. So, where do you take the girls, and what can we do to further help them? And then after that, tell us a little bit about you and your prior life experiences. And you said you did a TED Talk. Tell me a little bit about that as well.
Well, real quick, as far as the girls, I mean, I really miss seeing them out there because I was really making a good connection with them. And I told them anytime they saw Prince George's County Police riding up and down on Eastern Avenue in Fairlawn Heights, do not be afraid of them. They are there to watch over and make sure that they're protected and safe. And I just want to get that coalition thing back together where we can really come up with some good plans. Because like I said, one And I
Wow.
said, wow, I can't believe that's all that they cared about. They really were concerned and thought, wow, this is what Karen's bringing to my organization. I don't want to lose her. And
That's
so
right.
that's building that platform that hopefully others will do the same thing. And they'll understand that we're not what you see on Jerry Springer show. We
I
have
agree.
police officers, firefighters, uh, judges,
Teachers.
politicians,
Yeah.
military.
Trying to
You
do
know,
that myself.
yeah, exactly. So we want people to understand that in a big way that, we are trying to really do really good things out there. And when in 2015, when I was honored in the Platform magazine for up and coming inspiring females with the mission, basically, out of 31 other women around the world, I was the only transgender woman in that magazine. So that's what I want to encourage others. And then on the flip side, for people who aren't transgender, I want them to see who we are, to get to know us, and they'll have the same thing saying, "Wow, I want you to be my new best friend." It's not to condemn us like some do.
Other people do. Well, thank you, Karen, for sharing all of that wonderful news. So, what is your website and how can people reach out to you?
My website is kkhomes, so that's KKHOLMES.com. And in there's a contact part there that they can contact me on. They can see my schedule on there if they want to advertise a banner, top banner, side banner, middle banner, bottom banner, they can. Or if you're an organization that's reaching out to the community, I have a reference tab where you can put a reference in there at no charge, and people will be able to reach out to your services as well. And again,
Wonderful.
that website is kkhomes.com.
All right. Well, thank you for having us on. And for everybody else, we will be right back. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Bye. Oh, good evening, everybody. People are requesting dinner. It is one of those special things that really helps everybody out. So, one of the biggest things that we are still wanting people to get done out there is to basically get their voter registration done out there. And today's the last day. It is pretty much, this is it. Wisconsin just had a big issue with the Supreme Court where they lost, and their primaries are still going on right now. But today you can register to vote and have that done. You've heard it from, the ladies before us that social distancing is still going on. We don't know when it's going to end, but your voice really does matter. Your story matters just as much as theirs. And we want to hear from you. So when you do, make it part of that election day. Go to vote.org, get your absentee ballot in the mail, and make it happen, because when you vote Mia Mason, it is just one of those things like what Karen talked about, where we are out there representing the community. We are out there part of the parish and taking care of others by making that sacrifice to support you. And with that is just one of those simple things that, we really need to support for us. So if you are available, please make a donation to miadmason.us. You can click on the donate, sign up, volunteer. It's one of the biggest, best things we can do. And speaking of some of the things that we're looking to do, is we've decided to have these digital town halls every week, so that we can actually take care of our community's needs. So send us in your questions and answers ahead of time, or we can actually just have you on the show. It's one of those things that we're always giving back. I am a military veteran who has been in for over 20 years, and I had to fight for that retirement. And other people are now fighting for the same thing that I've gone through. They're going through this isolation, and I basically see it as my 6th military deployment. One of the first times that I've gone through isolation like this, because you're so used to being around everybody, and now you're just limited to a few people, was a natural disaster. It was called Hurricane Katrina. I was in the Navy, and we were doing a change of command with our commander, and we were circling an island forever and ever, doing the Panamax exercise with the French Marines, and they have a wonderful smell like no others that you will never ever forget. But one of the biggest things that I learned from that was basically, this is what we're going to be doing every day, over and over and over again, as if it was Groundhog Day. So find something new, charismatic, break out those board games, find some kids, go to the Zoom meetings, do like the pastor has done and set up virtual town halls for everybody. Our current congressional leaders are also doing virtual town halls every week to keep people updated about this COVID-19 pandemic. But that is all hopefully going to end. This is where we are now planning to make sure that, in the last 2 weeks before the election primary, we can make sure that we reach all of our voters, and you can also hopefully enjoy Memorial Day. That is my prediction. It is not set in stone, but it is something that I am looking forward to being with others as well, because when I was there for Katrina, we ended up doing the same thing that happened to that captain. Who was just recently fired off the Theodore Roosevelt, except it was the reverse. Our new captain, we gave him all the cheering and morale and boost because Hurricane Rita was right there behind it and going to cause more devastation for Texas. We just couldn't do that. Our ship was broken, our morale was broken, we've been isolated for 2 months plus, and then we were just glad to get home. It was very, very hard and difficult for us all to get through that time. And I tell you, without my shipmates, without my sailors, supporting each other through that hard time, things would be different. And now you can give back and support us by going to make that difference, like what I've been doing for you. And you will see that continue as I continue to serve. And I want to make sure that I can give back as well. So we pledge that to you as a veteran, friend, and advocate, because that was our panel tonight. I'm the veteran, we have our friend, and we have our advocate there, because they represent you in the community. They are the leaders out there who go out on the streets with the police, that go out there in their parishes and take care of all the personal issues that you may have. And when it comes to the political issues, I'm looking forward to taking care of that issue for you tonight when you go and vote Mia, because that is the biggest thing that actually will make the difference tomorrow. And when I finally got home, as I was saying before with Hurricane Katrina, I was relieved. In fact, it led me to do better things like join the Army, because those were other tougher deployments that, we're not in combat here. But those who, like our last guest from last week, they're still out on the front lines. They're at the hospitals. They are out there at the grocery stores working. We have to be able to take care of them. Yes, we got a stimulus bill passed, but we will be talking about that next week to see what will be happening then. So, with all of that said and done, we've taken care of all of our issues. We want to hear back from you. So drop us a line, give us some information about what you want to do and see in the community, and we'll have you on as our guest. So with that, if you're out there and you're ill or whatever, we're praying for you. We want to see you back out there within our communities, so that we can get our lives all back together again, hopefully by the end of this year. So with that, y'all have a wonderful night, and talk to you then. Bye.